All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Katanagatari, episode 7. Another just regular episode in the works for today.
Nothing on the agenda?
Nope, definitely no. Oh, wait, hang on. What was that? Killing of your sister, something like that?
I must have misheard that.
Though. Must have misheard it, you know.
Kamimashite.
Yeah, exactly. The person at the end of the episode that does the stuff stuttered. Or they just straight up lied because we can't exactly trust them.
But I mean, they could actually be just actually spitting the facts, and I didn't know he's 100% going to kill his sister this episode.
They could.
And then it's the why.
Sure. And how?
Yeah.
Because, like...
Sister is ridiculous.
I would not exactly put him as the victor if there were a matchup right now.
Me neither.
So.
Yeah. Oh, without further ado, let's get into this.
Oh.
Holy crap. Was this the devastating fight that they had mentioned had just... yeah,
the whole town being wiped out or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Cursed blade?
I mean, it's one of the swords.
Yeah. For your own sake, you don't want to be holding that thing. Well. Maybe just wait amongst the carnage, you know? That would certainly be
Oh, whoa, what the fuck?
Spirit of the Blade?
Whoa. No, I think it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I mean, I love that it seems like we're getting another perspective episode for her.
Yep.
Just like a video game.
Yeah, this is hilariously dark. Like,
yeah.
Wow. That's just forcing her to relive the memories. Or no, she can banish them without a thought. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh, just we're here.
We're gonna do some in media res shit.
Yeah. That was great.
Oh my god.
Or maybe our resident strategian.
But then you wouldn't kill me. Yeah,
Right.
Damn. Whew. She's just dodging.
Yep.
Whoa.
Right. You sure
I
about
can't
that?
see you as a monster. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
司令山を壊滅させたってのは聞いてたけどよ。
And now he, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now he's motivated.
変わったことを言うようになったわね、七か。雑草をいくらか引き抜いたところで、やいのやいの言われる覚えはないわ。戸上さん。あなたに七かを預けたのは失敗だったのかもしれませんね。私の刀を私がどのように使おうが私の勝手だ。そうではないか。その通りですね。確かに筋違いの逆恨みで。
Nice. The back top. Yeah. Taking it back, yeah.
姉ちゃん、マニワニとも戦ってたのか。むちゃくちゃだ。
あなたの七か八列くらいなら一度見ればそれで十分。よかったわね、七か。これまでの敵が弱いかと。
Wow.
Yeah.
こんな明白な弱点を誰も見抜けなかったのね。巨頭流、ひなげしから珍鳥出まで打撃技混成接続。打撃からすべて重さを取り除いて。
Wow.
私の
Wow.
あなたがそうして倒れる。
Yep.
2回死んでいる。
She lightly tapped you
Yep.
272 times.
姉ちゃん、今のどういう。
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why?
とぼけるな。あんな無茶な技。姉ちゃんの体力で272回もの打撃を。
こういうことよ。
Oh.
Shit.
イカズチ
Shit.
体の中央に差し込むことによって私の病は強制的に癒され、顔を洗って出直してきなさい。
Okay.
What? So again, what was the point?
Well, maybe that goes to show how she would die if he got the sword.
Dog, oh my gosh.
誰？
This is being framed almost like a visual novel or something.
Yeah.
あの不愉快な女に言われて私たちの動向を探っているのであろう。
外れず。まあその通りだがな。
そうだ、その司令山から刀を奪った奴はどこに隠れておるのだ。
隠れず。いや。
Oh my god.
ご検事を乗っ取ったというべきだ。
So the stuff earlier was absolutely a video game.
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
This is incredible.
ヤスリナナミ。
God.
Like it's
This
funny, but
episode
also like, ugh.
So many. Ugh.
ただいま戻りました。
遅い。いつも本当にいつまで待たせる気よ。この愚か者。
申し訳ありません。
God, I love this theme song. It's so fun.
ヤスリナナミという巨頭流の姉、化け物です。
全日本最強ヤスリナナミ。
いてぞら一族を全滅？どうやったらそんなことができるのよ。なーにこの計算違い。巨頭流を表の世界に引っ張り出したのはいいけど、ついでにとんでもないものまで引っ張ってきちゃったというわけか。
サビ白兵どころの話ではないな。
The random animals in this episode. The dog. No,
Yep.
私はどうするのか。
Feels weird going to this though from their encounter,
Right.
especially in the past.
ちなみにあんたならヤスリナナミ相手にどう戦う？
I wouldn't. Yeah, yeah.
時間を稼ぎますね。あなたが逃げられるだけの時間。
花丸。でももう
It's like a girlfriend asking a boyfriend. So, what would you do in this
Right, right.
impossible situation? I would think about you first and foremost, of course, my lady.
偶然を装って何回か地味に蹴られました。
子供みたいな真似をするわね。
Wait, have all those times of clumsiness been like intentionally like fake, like pretend
Maybe.
clumsiness?
そういう気分じ
Wait, she kept someone alive? Just to like attend her or something?
今の私にはそなたの胸の悪党ビター引き渡してくれる条件はないのか。お優しいんですね、相変わらず。けれどまさかあなたがシチカをああも人間扱いしてくれるとは。
You wanted her to be more utilitarian or something?
いっそ私が折ってあげるべきなのかしら。物騒なことを言うでない。何を言うのですか。物騒至極極まりない殺し合いをしようとしているのに。
But I didn't even do anything.
Resigned to give up. Cheerio! Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Dang.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Oh.
Okay.
姉ちゃんの方が強いって分かったら、姉ちゃんを選んじゃうかもしれないじゃん。たわけが。半年前ならいざ知らず、今は私の。
Yeah. Yeah.
自慢ではないが、数百数千回と負けておる。それでも今のそなたのように何もせずにただ落ち込んでおったことな。
Wow.
Probably because you're so used to losing.
Okay. Yes. Oh. Oh. Okay. Haha.
Okay. Use the known weakness to like guide what she'll do.
Ha 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 ha. So therefore it has a weakness.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Right. It's just convenience to have it be a cool anime yelling out move, yeah. Oh, is it now? Wait.
Hitting them with your butt? Is that the technique?
Oh, do tell.
See, I ground up a shit ton of peppers. We throw them in the air.
Because she wants to die.
Maybe because then that's the only way he'll actually kill her, because he thinks he won't need to worry about her safety, you know? Yep. That, huh?
Because we know he did that, but the reason why she wants to die is because... Oh.
But it was actually her.
Yeah.
今宵はあなたも手を出すのでしょう。いえ、手ではなくて出すのはあくまで知恵ですか。では楽しみにしておりますよ。道
Nice.
場に向かえばよいのですね。いや、道場ではない。きっちりと決着をつけるためにも、そなたたちには御仏の前で戦ってもらうことにする。御仏？刀大仏の前で決着をつけよう。
Oh, what is happening? Wait.
And the wipe that bounced on the bottom of the screen.
Uh-huh. I see a lot of things that can obstruct vision in this room. Okay, no words.
少しは尖れてきたようね。ねえシチカ、あなた父さんを殺した時のこと覚えてるかしら。
そりゃ覚えてるけど。
あの時の
Yeah.
Oh.
うん
俺だからちゃんと私を殺してね。トガメさん、そういうことですから早く合図をお願いします。いざ尋常に。1、0。
Perfect.
Beautiful.
300本のろうそくが全く同時刻に
Damn.
Wow.
気の遠くなるように。
Holy shit.
Love it.
巨頭流最終奥義。
隙が多い流力加工ならばそれを一撃目にすればいい。
シチカ8列開。
やったか。
Shit.
And that's that.
ナナミはどうなった？死んだのか？
いや、あんまり勝ったって感じじゃないな。半分以上トガメの奇策。
I mean, that's not what she asked, though. Is she?
どうやら私の考えが甘かった。
You wouldn't actually strike to kill.
姉ちゃん、動いちゃダメだ。
悪党ビタなんてそんなインチキな刀で己の強さ。
Regulating my strength.
Oh.
他人の強さをまとうことで少しでも弱くなる。強さを鎮静だと。
Okay.
ぬるかったのは私の方ね。
Wow.
私はまだ生きているわ。殺してちょうだい。
But
If
is
you
she lying
don't.
again? Because she didn't die?
Right, so it's the...
Yeah, will you kill me? Just...
うるさい。
Oh, that's so cool.
Well,
次はもちろん首を落とすわ。
yep, unless you kill me, Shichika. Oh, yeah, and that was his...
やってみろ。ただしその頃には姉ちゃん
By that point, you will turn to pieces. Yep.
All right,
There
okay.
it is.
と全力で戦ってくれるのね。
Now we actually have the
hear-
video game fight.
Yeah,
like-
yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
私の体が私の全力に耐えられるはずがないのだ。
She's gonna die, but you won't be the one to kill her.
少しでも長生きするために。
姉ちゃん。
What, so you could see him again?
姉ちゃん。
Through the hole that was already there.
よくぞ、よくぞ。よくも私を殺したわね。あれ、噛んじゃったかな。巨頭流は刀を使わない流派でもない。決して刀を使えない流派なのだ。
Wow.
シチカ8列の弱点云々など口実に過ぎ。ただ、ナナミはそなたに殺して欲しかったのだ。人として当たり前に死にたかったのだ。
触っていいか。
Yes.
好きにするがよい。この神好きの変態。
And now it goes into head pats, because that's the only way to do
Yeah.
it. Nice.
しかしこれで俺もトガメと同じ天外。
What do we do?
私にはそなたがおるし、そなたには私がいるであろう。
Mm-hmm.
ああ、今笑いおったな。
He just smiled and, you know.
There we go.
Oh no. You might hit me with that. After all, I have so many weaknesses, you know.
Yep, and now different AD, because
Yeah. short hair. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this was an interesting episode.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those episodes where I'm fully just willing to admit I don't understand why about 70% of the episode happened.
Yeah.
And yet the other remaining 30%, I'm like, oh,
I really like it.
I really liked that. So why don't we focus more on that? So so it's almost one where I want to go online right now and I want to look up like
People's
analysis and reviews and thoughts on this episode, because I feel like in order to understand maybe what the point of a lot of the small little things that happened peppered throughout it, I would need to spend more time kind of just sitting and pondering specific things and maybe not being so quick to kind of condense it into a simple kind of thing there. But yet that's the point of what her arc was.
It intentionally is very simple, right?
So it feels like it's maybe meant to be almost like a little bit of a joke, like a writing joke in that regard.
I mean,
so I don't know.
If anything, I feel like the reason why the episode felt odd is because there weren't many jokes in it. Like the fact that it started immediately with all right, you're facing off against your sister, even though we, went back and showed how they got there, that starts it off with a very serious tone. And yet, normally when I think of Katanagatari episodes,
it starts off with her killing everybody. Is how it actually starts off.
Yeah, exactly. So it very feels, serious episode, and yet the serious elements didn't feel to me like they needed to take up the whole episode. And so, I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those times where I feel like when a story has something that it wants to communicate, but it's in the format of it being like a specific medium or a specific kind of thing, like this show's runtime per episode, it doesn't make sense to have the story extend beyond focusing on Nanami. But yet the story doesn't really have more to tell beyond just the ways in which Shichika feels about this situation.
Right.
So it's odd that the story would kind of beat around the bush, I guess, for so long. So it just feels off pacing wise.
And especially in an episode like this, the situations with like the Maniwa core people and things like that stood out even more than usual as being like, why is it here?
Yeah.
Because in the other episodes, there's still that feeling of why is it here, but the show as a whole is generally goofy enough that that's sort of like a reason for it, even if I don't particularly like that as a reason, because they aren't my favorite parts, I don't really see as much of the point of it. Because like I'm not inherently interested in like the world here. I want to see these characters doing their thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And in this one in particular, where it's like we're now up to like the big serious stuff, and then it's like we're going to show, we're going to show the Maniwa core people, we're going to show the other lady, talking to her bodyguard or whatever, right, and all these things, and it's like that.
So it's just interesting because I don't really feel negative about the episode. I just feel like I'm confused. Like
like I still quite liked this episode.
Yeah.
And yet with what I was led to expect from the next episode he kills his sister, right? Which does add a nice sense of dread because it's how it's going to end, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this was one of those episodes that could have totally wowed me and blown my socks off.
Yeah.
And yet it was just sort of like that was okay. All right.
That was an episode of all time, like, I very much loved the way in which she kind of questioned things constantly, but going back and forth with, is it a good thing? Or actually, is it a bad thing? And then the way in which she held all this complicated emotions with regards to her family and stuff, but then extending that out to Shichika seems like it's potentially like super interesting, but I guess the story only chose to focus on that at the beginning and the end of the episode. So
okay,
yeah,
I think I have a way to describe some of like the feelings that I'm getting from this episode that are kind of like
Odd.
yeah, that are leaving me feeling kind of odd. So I'm going to bring up Kizu as a comparison example, not because it's necessarily even a fair comparison, but because a lot of the plot elements are like very similar, right?
Okay.
You have an overpowered antagonistic figure that has a close connection to the main character, and they want to get the main character to kill them, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming if you're watching this show, you have already seen Monogatari, right?
Sure. I mean, it's the same creator.
Yeah,
so.
exactly, right. In Kizu, even if it wasn't always the focus of like exactly what the motivations were, I still got a strong sense throughout of a lot of emotion for the characters. So then when the explanation comes of, oh, they want to die and things like that, it's like, oh, okay, that
Right.
makes sense, right? And I feel how much they want to die, right?
Yeah.
In this situation, it felt like it was more of a technical experiment where it's I have some ideas that I'm wanting to get into, but it's not so much selling to me the emotion of the idea, it's selling to me the mechanical how of the idea, right?
Right.
Like it's because she's so strong, then, this stuff happened. The dad tried to kill her, but we don't even really get much into the emotion of the fact that happened.
Right.
We're left to sort of like infer it ourselves, which I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with, except that it didn't feel like we get those little clues to then spark the inferring. And
Just the idea that he killed his father.
right, that he killed his father, and yet there's plenty of time in the episode for if they wanted to add more of that stuff, even if they still wanted it
focus
to
on
be a
Shichika a little
removed
bit,
kind of situation.
give a little bit of his thoughts on this.
Yeah.
But no, not really. Yeah. It was weird because I felt there was also a lot of time focused on the idea that, like, I mean, I don't know if there's some stuff that I'm missing also just because I'm not able to speak Japanese and stuff in general, and this feels like something that happened a couple of times with Monogatari as well, where the idea of like, oh, there's a weakness within this technique, or there's a specific thing with all this stuff here, or if we find out some kind of trick to this whole thing here, I don't understand the point of the story focusing on all that because it's irrelevant. It
It's
doesn't
arbitrary.
matter. It's all fluff.
Right. The rules of this world, while there will in the fights and stuff and the powers, while there will be mechanical things that they'll showcase to be like, aha, Togame
ninpo
is
does
using
this.
her
I use this ninpo to make the attacks weightless.
right, this clever
Yeah.
scheme, like the making the lights go out so that way she can't see her technique. Cool, that's great.
Sure.
But when it comes to the your arbitrary secret technique is not strong enough, that
feels like a joke. More so.
Yeah, that feels like a joke. Like it's not something that's supposed to be taken seriously. It reminds me of like the end of Soul Eater when it's like, oh, will Maka's super technique be enough? And some of the characters even mention like, what are you talking about? That's not what it's about. Like that'd be kind of silly, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that in this show that is so meta brings up something that's so by the numbers, and yet it isn't doing it as some kind of joke, as far as I can tell.
As far as I can tell, yeah.
That feels extra odd, right? Because that's not what I've been led to expect. If this was generally a paint by the numbers show, then it's like, okay, sure, that's its style of doing things, right?
Right.
But when it does that in this episode, where it's had all of this setup for things to get wacky and for it to go into this, crazy territory of the sister's so strong, it's a comical video game sequence as she's slaughtering people, and
like the idea that she took out the village of the super strong, that's why she has this strength. Yeah, that's a really fun reveal there, but it doesn't really mean anything to the story because we've already established that she's super strong.
Right.
So the idea that the story's like, aha, but see, remember the little girl that was super strong and how her village was all wiped out? There you go. That's the reason why. And it's like,
okay,
well, I wasn't following any logical consistency with regards to the world building anyway.
Right. And then to
really
you don't need it. And then on top of that to be like, but she was actually using those techniques to weaken herself. And it's like, okay.
So this is characterization for her?
Yeah, maybe.
Where it's like, yes, that she wants to die, but it's also like, maybe again,
she did want to live a bit longer.
Well, right, yeah, exactly. But I think this is where you can kind of simplify things down, where it's maybe the point that's being made is that the motivation is extremely simple.
Sure.
But if you somehow didn't get it by this point, we're going
It
to
would-
paint it enough different ways
So it
and
would
enough
be
different
abundantly
times
clear.
that we're making it abundantly clear. I thought it was clear, like 100%, like almost before even getting into this episode. Like this episode just kind of like added that last little
Of her wanting to die?
2%
Or-
of her wanting to die. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, and
and
she even mentions it herself when she's by herself.
Yeah.
And it's like not that far into the episode, I don't think.
Well, I mean, because it's in this episode, I feel like it's all, added
Sure, it's
into
all in
there,
the same
but
package,
it's the why does she want to die?
Uh-huh.
And yet, because of the way that this episode was framed, we didn't actually spend time with them interacting with each other much at
Yeah.
all outside of the duel.
Right. The strongest.
Which I guess is maybe a point to that they're both swords, and they absolutely cannot use swords. So then it's is this a tie-in to where Shichika is actually meant to die because their whole point of being themselves living swords is that they cannot use their bodies, their swords, their techniques, and then if they do, then
Yeah, I don't know.
then they will decay, they will decompose, they will die, they will end. Then maybe I'm kind of picking up what the episode's going up there, but I think I have no issue kind of being like, hey, this one is one that is for other minds to figure out. I will be happy to kind of just read up on that and figure it out based on the things that they highlight, because I think it makes more sense as a foreshadowing tool than an actual like individual bit
like
of story.
payoff for this episode.
Well, yeah, because I don't. Maybe also this is the genius of it. I don't feel anything for Nanami.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah,
It's really sad, but like that's probably what Shichika feels as well, and that might be the point.
But we see the tears as he's like getting ready for the ultimate technique, right?
Right.
So, like,
but that's translated in this external space from. It's not the actual reality of what's happening.
isn't it?
Like, see, they're doing all these fight things here.
No, right. But at the end, when it's like
But then here,
when he's about to do the final one.
well, right. But this is got the white background and everything. This is like from her perspective now. All of a sudden,
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's like it's not real, right? It's just that it's the burning building is fades away, right? This is all that is important.
so you're right. No, I got you. So what you're saying is basically that she's reading, because I'm taking it that in this bit they're fighting. He's fighting to kill her.
Okay.
And the act of him fighting to kill her is him trying to save her. He's not actually calling out her name when he's fighting here.
Wait, I'm lost.
Okay, so you're saying that this is all actually happening right now.
Yeah. And the okay, so you've talked about a few things, and I have some thoughts on those. But so with this, I think it's fairly straightforward here in that he's realizing that he's going to have to kill his sister. She also kind of wants to die, so shit, right? Like, of course that's going to make him get all emotional and stuff.
Okay.
But we aren't necessarily sold on the emotion, because he wasn't exactly the most emotionally complex person at the start of the show. We haven't seen much of their dynamic. The things that are in this episode that were like not abundantly clear originally were then made abundantly clear with like, we're going to highlight it and underline it and put it in italics and all that stuff, just to make sure that, hey, this is at the end. If you didn't realize that, say, she wants to die and things like that, you do now, right? That is very, very clear. And yet then because of that makes me think that there isn't, if I don't really get a sense that there's something more, then there probably isn't something more, because if there was something that the story was trying to communicate to me, because it's taking such a methodical, like, we're going to make sure you get it kind of approach, then I would at the very least be able to get a sense of it. If not, the show would have made it much more clear. And the motivations as far as why she wants to die seems to be entirely based on this is a world building aspect of when you're this strong, that's just what happens, rather than any kind of personal decision. And the thing is that yes, if her body's falling apart, okay, then maybe it's just easier for her to die. But even then, we didn't actually get even that as a motivation of, hey, my life is suffering, right? I've been causing people all this suffering up until now that I actually care about, as opposed to the randos out there that I murk. So just end it, right? Like I would have been okay if it had been ended back then. I wish I didn't have to make you kill your father, our father, right? Like we could have gotten that, but we didn't.
Yeah.
And that,
It just,
that's it's not like that's like wrong of the show to do, but that just means it's making a choice to not do that. That's not the direction it's going. That's not something that's there. That wouldn't even be a correct characterization of Nanami, right?
Yeah.
But because that's the case, what's the other thing then for me to latch on to be emotionally invested? Beyond just I know that they're siblings, but I don't really have any kind of sense of their sibling dynamic other than, we were trained by someone who was very strong, so we both are also very strong.
Well,
and that's
she wasn't
kind of
trained.
Well, no, right. She wasn't trained. We're both very strong, and
They
that's
just
sort of
fought each other.
Right, and that's sort of the only way we can relate to each other, But like,
I am just struggling to, connect the two things of I want to die. My brother won't kill me because, well, he has no reason to want to kill me.
Right.
So at the end, I give him a reason to want to kill me because he hasn't done it. He's actually been holding back all this time.
I'll go after Togame if you don't. Yeah.
Right. So then she does all these horrible things to bring up the situation where this can then be brought up. But as for all the time that they were on the island together, she wanted this then as well.
Right, but she didn't.
But it was only when she then went and grabbed the sword and stabbed it into her, probably to try and kill herself specifically.
Oh, sure.
Then ends up getting the kind of fucked up situation where it's actually
like keeping
healing
her alive. Well, and yet, if she
it-
wanted to die, I'm
Right.
guessing that's why she left the island. So maybe but even then,
But
this
then
is,
why didn't she
this
leave
is,
the island ever before?
Well, this is reading into something that, again, because of the way that the story is setting things
Yeah.
up, we have no reason to even think that it might be this.
yeah.
But, her brother leaves and then she realizes the island is lonely. She actually cared about her brother and she realizes he's out of her life now and that's sort of just how it's going to be. And because he's Togame's sword and everything, and, she understands that. But as a result of that, she doesn't have anything else, and so then she wants to die, right?
Yeah.
That would be a motivation I would absolutely believe.
Yep.
But there is no reason for me to think in the slightest that is actually what's going on, right?
Yeah, 'cause the story doesn't.
Because it doesn't do anything with that. It doesn't even really hint at it from what I can tell.
It's the kind of thing where I feel empty inside, and it feels kind of sad that I feel that way because a brother just killed their sister here.
Right.
And
Like
the story, I don't feel like gave me enough reasons to miss her. And that's something that I feel like is kind of sad that he even says at the end here, I didn't want to kill her. And I totally get that. Regardless of whether he was literally saying, Nissan, or Nei-chan, I'm sorry, I have to do this and all that. Or that's the feelings that are being communicated through the fight and stuff like that. And regardless, I think just the idea there that he feels some kind of closure about this because he gave her what she wanted.
Right.
And yet he just killed his sister. And within a few minutes after that, he's joking with her about her hair.
Right.
It's the kind of thing where I don't even really feel like the characters, even like their emotions, there are ones that I can fully get behind.
Maybe he felt bad about it in the moment, but he got over it pretty quick. Right.
It's the kind of thing where, again, I would love to hear some people's thoughts about this episode because I don't feel like I'm getting the right kind of picture of it, and that I would have liked to have this fight and death happen in the middle of the episode or in the much earlier, maybe at least 10 minutes earlier,
and then aftermath.
Actually, aftermath be about the emotion of all this thing, be about this stuff kind of being something that he's pondering and thinking about.
Theory that maybe would make this show or this episode feel like it fits a bit better. So,
Like, I just feel worried for Shichika at this point. Like,
Yeah. What if the point of this is that because like it's supposed to be a much like easier barrier of entry than like something like say Monogatari, right? Where it's the no, we're going to keep it very simple. There's not going to be a whole lot to it. So that some of these not necessarily headier things, but like, we can have something like, oh, my sister wants to die, and so I end up killing her because she forces me to do it, right? That's something that you wouldn't get in a lot of stories, right? And yet, because the show keeps things very simple and like, oh, hey, it's a fun action show where boy meets girl and they go on this adventure, and they're going to fall in love and stuff, but there's going to be some things along the way that are going to surprise you if you're expecting like a paint by the numbers kind of show.
I guess,
then maybe
yeah.
that's where it makes a bit more sense, because then it's we're specifically trying to make it so that there isn't that much. The fact that that their brother and sister is supposed to be all the emotional attachment that you need,
yeah.
And we're specifically going to make sure that the emotions don't actually get that high or heavy, so that way you don't feel like you need a break afterwards. It's just like, oh, that was an episode that did a thing that I wouldn't have expected, and now let's see what the next one does.
Yeah, and just because I didn't feel the emotions doesn't mean that the characters didn't feel them. The idea that they can be something that they're experiencing, but the expressions of them are much subtler is a totally valid
Because
thing
Shichika
there.
is definitely the kind of person that if he's feeling
emotionally
anything,
stunted,
is
yeah.
emotionally stunted. So
Yeah.
you have to magnify the emotions that you do see from him. But
Yeah. I do think that, maybe the strong thing that pulls this into the general story in a really cool way is that she used him as a sword in this engagement here, and that's something that you absolutely, must not do. So she's constantly been searching for a sharp blade,
Nanami?
Nanami, yeah. And that it's
Okay.
the point that she needed the blade to be as sharp as possible so that when she fell on it, it would actually do its job.
Sure.
And the sad thing about this is that, Shichika's feelings and thoughts and person and all this kind of just ends up getting used. And thus it's her kind of wish that, hey, Togame, keep treating him.
Yeah.
Keep doing right by him.
That was
because
my
he's
favorite
gonna
part of the
need you.
episode.
I think that was one of my favorite
When
parts of the
they
episode
were just
as well.
talking together.
And they were talking by the pool. Yeah,
and it's
outside
like
the temple.
right, and it's the oh no, because
yeah.
that's where you get the cutting of the tension, right? It's like, oh yeah, your sword is literally going to kill me, right? We're going to fight to the death because you want what I have, and I'm not going to give it to you.
Yeah, and it led into the pep talk cheerio bit, which was also a really wonderful.
Yeah,
part of
that
the
was
episode.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Also, the episode. Now that I think about it, I think I'm already like starting to see things are starting to piece together. They had the little video game reference to stuff in the beginning. And they had the little vignette of them kind of walking, a little side scroller and stuff like that. That might have been the fun to keep that kind of weaker part of the pacing engaging.
Sure.
And thus then the story, what do you know, immediately picks up right when they get back to the temple side of things. And it's one of the best scenes with Togame and Nanami talking. And then that leads into the training stuff, the encouragement stuff. The scheming montage.
Well, one of the other,
but yeah, that's kind of the focus point. That's the part that we had the most kind of issue with, where we're just kind of like, okay.
well,
and
there's even some issues that I have with like how the actual like fights and stuff went down, because since we know where it's heading, right, dragging out the process of how it ends up happening when there isn't obvious characterization that's happening in that process, right?
other than really for Nanami, if anything.
Right, but even then, like for instance, thinking about the fact that like, okay, yeah, at the end she's like, I'm just gonna kill her if you don't kill me, right?
Well, that was her final straw. I feel like was because he was supposed to kill her then with the sword and everything,
so she kept
still
thinking
held
that
back.
he would, and then because of the brother that she used to know, kind of a deal, and then as she kept seeing how he wasn't the person that she expected him to be, probably because of Togame's influence, then it's the, okay, fine, I'll do this to force your hand. Also, I gotta say, the doing that as a way to both show that I could kill her at any time, but also as the, cut the anime girl's hair, right? From being really long down to really short and everything, and all the stuff that it means, because he used to wrap himself up in her hair, and like this is very much a turning point in their journey and everything like that. I thought was wonderful, and it goes up there with one of my with the list of examples of that trope being done in stories that I definitely like enjoy a lot.
But all right.
Yeah.
We'll be just looking out for you, Shichika. I hope that you're doing okay.
Yep. But until then, head pats.
Yep. And love to hear from you guys, especially through the Discord or something like that. Because this is such a conclusive bit of one of the characters' stories for very obvious reasons.
Right.
But even though it's something that could lead into other stuff, maybe even when the show's over and, go back and look at stuff and things like that, kind of have stuff in the comments or what have you ready for like, hey, this is some kind of stuff to think about this episode in particular. But yeah, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out my Persona 5 Royal Let's Play on Twitch. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.